So hey ladies.
Hi.
Hi.
Thank you so much for coming on to join me on Clever Girl Finance TV to talk about women and money.
What a topic.
So I thought that we could have a conversation about circle of influence and saying no, because as women, that's something that we typically have to deal with. You know, people who influence our decisions, or just having to say no to people who are asking us for more than we can give, even though we try to give all the time, every time. So what are some situations that you found yourself needing to say no, or needing to not just say no, but also shift your circle of influence, like move away from that person for the greater good of your life, basically?
Well, I think what we have to understand is that we grow and evolve, and everyone isn't doing it at the same pace. Mm-hmm. So when the conversations become kind of mundane, or you become disinterested in it, I think at that point you need to make a choice on whether you should keep that person in your life or back up and include other people that know things that are more than what you've seen already, right? So who are smarter than you. Like, you should never be the smartest person in your circle. And I've had to make that decision at various points in my life, where there are times where I just decrease the amount of time I spent with that person, and there are times when I completely had to cut off that person. And it really impacted not only my career, but like my financial life and just my exposure to different things, right? So I think it's a necessary choice that we have to make at some point in our life.
I think sometimes it's hard to shift your circle depending on who the person is, right? Sometimes it's people that are in your family. Sure. It could be someone that you're in a relationship with.
Break up.
Really? No. I mean, yes, really, you should. I mean, sometimes it means exiting a bad relationship, or a non-progressive, unprogressive relationship for the greater good. I've done that. I've had to tell ex-boyfriends, you know what, this isn't gonna work.
Yeah,
you're gonna be broke.
I think I do that a little more often than not, but
I feel like sometimes it's not even so much about the conversation being mundane. Sometimes I feel like you outgrow the limit that they have subconsciously set for you. So you get comments like, oh wow, you're changed, or just because you choose to spend money in a different way, or just because you choose to drive towards the goals that you set for yourself. Sometimes you get like random comments, or people just being not very positive or encouraging. And when you share your news with people, my mom always says, watch how they react. Watch the kind of questions they ask. You know, a low-key hater when they're like, oh, are you sure you're really ready for that opportunity? Yes. True story, just happened 2 weeks ago in a conversation. Actually, I think I am. Yeah. And so you should also pay attention to those, because sometimes people just think you're as successful as they think you will be, and when you start to exceed their expectations for you, then it becomes uncomfortable for them.
Yeah. Sometimes we can't really divorce our siblings or our parents, so it's like, I have to then change my behavior, and okay, what can I do? So I was, yes, Mom, I'll loan you money, which is not really loan, it's more like gifting. I'll never see that money again, I know. So it went to saying yes all the time, to saying, you know what, Mom, no, I have goals that I want to accomplish, and to do that I need to just be a little strict with my my finances. And she'll call me cheap, but that's okay. I still love you, Mom. So it's just saying no. It was hard, it's not easy, but you know, it's just like a muscle you have to build, and they'll understand. They'll get used to you saying no.
And some people are some people are really good manipulators. You know, it doesn't matter how many ways you say no, they'll still convince you. Find yourself opening your wallet or helping them do something that you know you shouldn't be co-signing for that loan, especially in relationships between, two people, where your emotion clouds your judgment, and then you end up giving all these things that you know you really shouldn't be doing. And so I'm a huge fan of, if you have that kind of person where you can't say no to them, or you find it difficult, or they make you feel bad. Like you said, you break up if you're in a relationship, right? Sometimes you're gonna have to. Or I'm the queen of avoiding you. Oh, decline, call. Oh, you mean you called me? I didn't even see that call. Or you got the text. Wow, there's something wrong with the iPhone thing. They just did that update. Have you been getting your messages? Like, I will avoid you until you get the message. And if you don't get the message, then maybe we won't talk again. Like, sometimes you just have to do that.
Yep.
For me, I feel like often it's not negative things around me that people are influencing in my life, but it's like fun things. It's like things I want to do and keeping up with the activities and the just things I'd like to be doing that maybe other people in their finances, it enables them to do it in an easier way. And so if I'm trying to keep a strict budget, I'm like, oh, I really want to go too, you know, and oh, we've already been out all these times this month, or oh, I wanted to take the kids, and I'm exceeding budgets, but because it's fun and it's active and we want to be doing stuff. And so sometimes it's hard to say no for good stuff. You know, I think that's always a battle that I've had myself. And so being able to say no and set limits, but being sure of what my goals are, I think, and being confident and like you said, just being able to say, you know, I'm not going to have to allow that our guest to say, don't tell me what you have going on. I don't want to know.
So I love that you said knowing what your goals are, because that better equips you to say no. Like, you can better say no when you know what you're planning to accomplish or you know what you're planning to do. So personal story. This was before we met, because me and Chaka met at the first day of my very first job out of college. Yes.
I remember May 2000 and blah, blah, blah. I was here.
So in college, I used to have this ex-boyfriend, and it was kind of like graduating, like started dating last semester of college and then graduating. And so I went from having no money to starting to earn my own money. And one of the first things I wanted to do when I started to earn my own money was to buy a place. So I had saved, I think I saved $10,000 or $12,000 for my down payment. And I bought this place. And this guy was just generally not very ambitious, unfortunately. And he also had that jealous streak in him, but I didn't realize it because I was oblivious because of emotion until I bought this house. I didn't tell him, obviously, because it wasn't a serious relationship, but I bought this house and I brought him over to look at the new condo that I had gotten. I was so excited to talk about painting and like where I'm going to buy furniture. And he walks in and he looks around and he doesn't really have a lot to say. He's not very excited. Like, all my friends are like, oh my God, wow, congratulations, your first place. Let's have a party. And then the next day he calls me and he's like, oh yeah, so since you bought your house and you have all this money, can you loan me $15,000? And I was like, what? I was like, why? I was like, you know what, don't bother. We're breaking up. I'm not giving you my money. Like, are you out of your mind? Because it was that at that moment, it dawned on me that he actually was not happy. I remember the look on his face when he walked in. And it crossed my mind. I was like, oh, maybe he's just having a bad day. And the next day you called me. As opposed to celebrating the milestone, he's like, oh, well, now that you have money, I need some money. And of course I wasn't going to loan you money. You must be crazy.
Especially not $15,000.
Hell no.
Like,
So just example. He was confident in his goals.
He was confident in his goals. So that was like one instance where I had to say no, and then hell no, and then goodbye. See you never.
I think that's really important, because so many times I've seen cases where women, myself also, have made excuses for stupidity in people for stupidity in people's behaviors. Like, oh well, maybe they really needed that help, or maybe I really need this person in my life to validate me. But I think it's important, like you said, like setting the goals and knowing who you are. And I started doing a lot of like mirror talks, like, who are you right now? Was this decision ideal? I feel like if I had a hidden camera in my bathroom, people would just wonder what is going on. But it's important to check in with yourself, because at that point in your life, you knew who you were, you knew what you wanted, and you knew that dude just was not going to fit into that picture. But sometimes it takes people a little longer to get there, even if they know, not having the confidence to say, this is all sorts of messed up and not what I want. So like, how did you get to that point where you felt like calling people out and having that picture and having that mindset?
To be honest, I don't even think I had a mindset about it because that was the first time that I'd never been in that situation before. It had never occurred to me that I would need to say no. But I was just like, I can't give you that money. Do you know how hard I've worked for this money, and then you're not working? First of all, you're older than me. You don't have a job. Like for me, the reason why I said no to him was because I worked so hard for my money, and you're just not working. Yeah. It doesn't work like that. So I was just, it just was, it was an organic reaction. Yeah. I was like, there's no way. Like, what will I tell my mother? She's like, what kind of useless boyfriend? We've all grown in our experiences, as women, and all of you, I know all of you are confident now to say no and to, you know when to shift your circle of influence. But what would you tell that younger you, that, 19, 20, 21-year-old you about saying no, given the experiences you've had that led you to the point where you're like, okay, I have to make this change, I have to make this shift? What would you tell yourself?
Good question. I think I know that I've grown a lot since 19 or 20. I had no confidence in myself back then. So I think that my advice really would be to really believe in myself, I think. Believe in where I'm going, the ideas that I have, to worry less about what other people are thinking and speaking into my life, because I know I had a lot of growing to do, and I think I didn't really believe in myself. I didn't trust myself and who I was at that time. So I really needed to just have a little confidence.
I think for me, I think I always equated love to me showing in action. And if I didn't do something for someone, or if I said no, it meant that I didn't care about them. So now when I realize that first I have to love me and care for me, and if doing something for you is taking me out of my comfort zone or making me extra tired and will impact something else that I need to do, then I need to care for myself first. And then I can be better for all those around me if I love myself, and if I'm rested and feel good, we'll all be happy. Because if I'm tired, because I helped you, we're not going to have a good time. So just really understanding that me saying no does not mean that I love you less or I care for you less.
Right.
For me, I will tell my 19, 20, 21-year-old self, trust your gut.
That's good.
Because in retrospect, all of those moments where in my gut I knew that the answer was capital N-O.
Hell no.
Hell to the hell no. And I felt like, oh, but that wouldn't be nice. And giving in,
always,
it's always bit me in the bum. It's always, I feel like I have a pound of flesh that had to heal over time. That was just bitten out because of a stupid decision or multiple stupid decisions that I made. By going against my inner gut. Just trust yourself. You've always had the answer all along. Trust here, like what's happening in here. Even if I didn't know all the, I didn't have all the information to make informed decision. In my gut, I knew. I had the discernment to know if somebody was what needed to be in my space, or if I really needed to take that job or go on that trip, etc.
Right.
That's good. I agree.
Yeah, and similar for me, I would tell my 20-year-old self is don't feel guilty about saying no. Those people that love you are gonna be there no matter what, if they truly love you. So it's just a matter of it's okay to say no. You're not a bad person, even though they're gonna manipulate you and make you feel like you are for not doing things. But at the end of the day, if they love you, they'll stick by you.
Yeah.
Something about that, I learned over the years that my family actually is good with my no's. They would ask me to do stuff, and all the while, like you said, I always felt like I had to say yes. I had to. But when I started saying no, okay, Lala, I'll just think of something else.
Yeah, it's so true. You antagonize, and then when you do it, and they go about their life, and they're still living. Like, it's not gonna fall apart if you say no. And we think that no, we have to be there. We have to say yes because we are holding everything together. No, they'll be all right.
And they're like, okay, it's cool, it's all right.
And I'll applaud them. I'm like, oh, you did it without me. Good. for you. You didn't need me.
So I would tell my younger self to speed it up. Don't waste time. So similar to you where, you told yourself to trust your gut. Like instances where I knew that we can't be friends. We can't be in a relationship. I'm never going to do that for you. But I would let it drag out. I would just do it like, you know what, bye. No. As soon as possible to just minimize the mental stress, because I would spend so much time thinking about it, like months. I remember when I was trying to leave a project at my first job, and I was trying to figure out how to tell my manager that I wanted to leave because it just wasn't a good fit. I was working from home, which sounds amazing, but I was working from home for 6 months. First job, didn't know anyone in the company. I started to lose my mind a little bit. And I spent weeks thinking about how to approach her and say, I want this change, I want this shift. And I would think about it waking up. I would think about it on meetings. And I was stressing myself out. And one day I told her, she was like, oh yeah, okay. So like, whatever shift you need to make, Bola, just do it faster. Like, don't waste time. Don't drag it out. Right. You know it's not going to work. Just say goodbye or ask for what you want and keep it moving right now.
Yeah, it's good. That's really good.
So thank you, ladies, so much for sharing your thoughts and your experiences with saying no, circle of influence. I'm sure this is going to empower and help other women as they kind of navigate these decisions in their day-to-day lives.
Thank you.
Thank you.